A quick disclaimer to everyone watching. Due to some technical issues, the audio of the student speaking was not recorded in good quality. Therefore, we hired a professional dubbing artist to recreate what the student spoke. Don't worry, we have not altered a single word of what has been spoken. What you hear in this video is what you would have heard if you were there in the auditorium during the time of recording. And now, on with the video.
Hello sir, Rahman this side. Sir, my question is in two parts. Basically, first is, in today's era where we live in a very relatively comfortable era. We live in a very relatively comfortable era where we can discuss and advocate for animal rights.
What's the first and villages? I'm sorry? We live, yes.
We live in a very relatively comfortable era.
Yeah.
Where we can discuss and talk about animal rights today.
Right.
But I'm talking about the societies of hunters and gatherers, where they were only dependent on animals for their survival.
Right.
So my first question is, how do you reconcile for their survival instincts with ethical arguments for today? And my second question is, sir, in my opinion, veganism is like more extremism of like extreme right, sir. Okay, my question is, why can't we just draw a line, a red line, and say that thus far and no further? For example, we take the dairy products. We maintain certain guidelines and certain qualities of doing this. So what's your take on this?
Okay, so the first point you mentioned was, what about people who are hunter-gatherers? Can you tell me exactly about any particular tribe you have in mind? Like you're talking about the Jarawa tribe in Andaman Nicobar, something like that you're mentioning?
Sir, all over the world we have a
few tribes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what will they do? So first of all, if someone is living in a tribe, obviously I don't go and give my lectures to people who are in tribes. I come to institutions at schools and colleges and lecture there because obviously we first need to talk to people who probably are from a background where they can choose to make the switch. Because forget even tribes. There are many even people who don't even get food once a day in this country. Yeah, go on.
Sir, what about the era like 10,000 or a million years ago, where they were dependent only on animals and no plants and everything?
Right.
There they did not have the convenience to talk about animal rights and these things.
Right.
So talking about those times, how do we reconcile for them? For their survival and sins and our ethical arguments for today.
Why are we bothered about people from 10,000 years ago? They're not even here right now. Shouldn't we worry about what we modern humans now do with our current rights and privileges? Why should we? My point is, first of all, what is the point of contention you wish to make with bringing up this topic about, say, cavemen from 10,000 years ago in the Ice Age? Like, what do you mean by that? Why do you want to know about them? They don't exist. Who cares? My point.
Sir, my point is like, because of them, it became a sociological norm.
Right.
That can't be argued.
Right.
And how does this concept of veganism and animal rights arise from the sociological norm out of this? Like a deviation from this?
Of course it's a deviation. Look, anything we humans do in society in the name of civil rights is pretty much a deviation from Darwinian evolution. Right? Because back then, 10,000 years ago, human beings survived based on evolution and natural selection. Meaning that the strongest survives, survival of the fittest. Even among a human tribe, not every human was treated equally. We even had the alpha male do everything, take what he wants, and then the remaining people, if they're lucky, they'll get a few scraps, right? So the point is that, of course, it does not fit with the narrative of how humans lived 10,000 years ago, but I want to reiterate that any of the current modern-day social liberties, which includes eradication of racism, sexism, casteism, or anything, are very much natural, because when it comes to sexism or misogyny, it is one gender which is physically stronger trying to take advantage of the other, right? So if I were to here stand up and lecture about, say, women's rights or children's rights, would you stand up and ask, how do you think cavemen treated cave women 10,000 years ago? Like, I mean, my point is that, why does it, of course it differs from how it was back then, but why does it even matter is my question. Like, anything we humans do in this modern society in terms of civil liberties has nothing to do with caveman, right? And veganism and animal rights is one more thing that's attached to that. Do you agree with my statement there?
Agreed, sir.
Yeah, so my point is, think of it like how you view current civil liberties, right? You don't have the current civil liberties back then. In fact, there are many countries, even in this world right now, where if I won't be let to be stand on a stage and speak like this, right? They'd want me killed. There are countries still that exist like that in this world right now. I can't go to North Korea, for example, and give a speech. They'll kill me. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my point is that right now, anything we do in terms of civil rights, and it has nothing to do with ancient cavemen, I'll ask ourselves to not think about what humans did 10,000 years ago, because it's over and the past is the past. Let's think about what we can do in the future. Second question you made was, I forgot.
Is veganism more of an extreme life?
Okay.
Can't you draw a few red lines and
Fair
say
enough.
that's
Okay.
fair enough, no further?
Now, you're saying we have to draw a line. I would like for you to define to me what the stipulations of those are. Like, where do you think this line should be drawn? And based on what reasonings, I would like to hear.
For example, sir, the milk we use. The milk we use, and these are natural cycles, sir. Sir, there is a research, lot of research that animal provide for us. And how do we contradict that?
Again, you were there during the entire presentation, right? I ask you, do animals provide for us or do we take it from them? Do cows give us milk or do we steal the milk?
Sir, they produce milk.
I'm sorry?
They produce milk.
They produce milk, of course. Every female human in this room also, if she had a child, would produce milk. So? Right. Of course, but for whom? If any female human in this room were to produce milk, for whom would she be producing milk? For whom would she be lactating?
Her child.
So why does every cow and buffalo on planet Earth lactate? Like you mentioned, I know you get the answer. The thing is that what you're doing is, this is called, and again, I think you guys are law students, so you want to be a lawyer, right? So I think what I'm saying, you will probably understand this even better than most other departments would. You are reiterating the current status quo in which you were born in and saying, why can't the line be drawn right there? Which means that everything that you have witnessed from your birth and what you grew up seeing and what you view as normal, you're saying, let's draw the line there. That's exactly what I am saying in my speech. No, let's take a step back and question every single thing. You are saying, why not take milk from cows? First things first, we have to understand, like I said, any kind of dairy farming, any kind of dairy business is a business. Now, why do people do business? To make a profit, right? So my point to you is that if there is a dairy business happening here, like I mentioned earlier, without making the female animal pregnant, how on earth can I run a dairy business? Is it possible to?
No, sir.
My question is, when this animal exists in society with me, does her body belong to her or does it belong to me? That's what animal rights is asking. In the current society we live in, we say animals are commodities. That is, they are things that we humans have the right to use in any way we feel fit to make a profit. If you think about it, 300, 400 years ago, if you go to North America, Africans were treated as commodities, slaves. So again, there people are making money, and let's say someone stood up, let's say we both went back 400 years ago to North America, and we both gave a speech speaking against slavery, and we had people stand up and saying, we have to draw a line somewhere. At the end of the day, I'm a white, that person is not me. Why don't we just draw it here? How about we do it nicely to them? You understand, we look at it always from our perspective. We have to put ourselves in the animal's shoes. If someone told 300 years ago, yes, I am a slave master, but I put them in a golden cage. I make sure they eat 3 times a day. I love my slave. I never beat them. I'm a good slave master. That's not the point. The concept of slavery is immoral and wrong. So I am saying the concept of animal slavery is immoral and wrong. And it has to be stopped regardless of how it's done. That's my point. If you have any arguments for that, please go ahead.
It's okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.